Welcome to our video series 29 Web Tricks Volume 2. In this video, we'll show you how to use JavaScript to defeat pop-up blockers. These days, I would say most people have pop-up blockers installed, and generally, they work well enough to block most, if not all, the styles of pop-up. However, there is still one style of pop-up that gets through pretty much all blockers. And I'll show it to you in action right now. If we go to a popular website, a popular web designer's website it's a site for web designers called SitePoint.com. And if we go to their forums folder, okay, there's no pop-up immediately, but you'll notice if I click anywhere on the site, for example, if I were to click this link here, as soon as I click, a pop-up appears, and it's not a floating pop-up like many sites have. It's a genuine pop-up in a completely new window, as you can see. Let's close this. So that beats my pop-up blocker, and obviously the person visiting has to click anywhere on the site. But it does work well, and that may be something you'd find useful. And here's how you add it to your website. It's actually very simple. I have a text editor open here. I'm using TextPad, but you can use any text editor. There are a couple that come free with Windows, for example, Windows Notepad. And TextPad is very easy to use. It's also very powerful, and if you're interested in downloading it, you can get it at textpad.com. Okay, so what I'm going to talk you through is how to add this style of pop-up to your site. And in this example, I'm going to be working with the actual code of the web page, the actual HTML code. And you can very easily create web pages using visual editors, which are also known as WYSIWYG editors. The WYSIWYG stands for What You See is What You Get. And a visual or WYSIWYG editor is, for example, Front Page or Dreamweaver. They work very well for creating web pages. It's just that sometimes, when you want more control, it's good to actually work or dive into a text editor, as I'm doing here. But obviously, when you're editing the code, it's helpful if you're familiar with HTML. And if you aren't, there are plenty of good tutorials and plenty of good references online. 3 I recommend are: there's one which is very good, which is called HTML Dog at htmldog.com, which is essentially a free book online. And there's also htmlref.com, which is a very detailed resource. And there's also w3schools.com, which covers HTML, CSS, and a lot more, including scripting like JavaScript. So you might find these 3 sites very helpful for further references and further tutorials. Okay, back to the code. It's a very basic web page I have here, as you can see. It starts with the HTML tag and closes with the HTML tag. There's the head section, the closing head tag. In the head section, I've just got some JavaScript. And the JavaScript has a function called Popup, which I've called Popup, and there's some code here. And all the code does is bring up a pop-up showing google.com. And if you're after JavaScript code for creating a pop-up, and JavaScript is a scripting language that adds more powerful features to your web pages. If you just go to Google and, for example, search for JavaScript pop-up code, you'll find plenty of free code online. A very popular and a very well-respected site is this one, javascript.internet.com. So there's plenty of JavaScript code available online that you can copy and paste into your web pages. Let's go back to the code here. And okay, in the head section, there's the JavaScript, and the body section, the body tag, the closing body tag. There's nothing there except some text I've typed in. So if I minimize TextPad for a moment, and minimize the browser, okay, I have the document I'm working on here, demo.html. And if I drag that into the browser, okay, let go, and there's the page. All it does is display that text. It doesn't do anything else. However, if I go back to the code here, if I make just one change to the body tag, body space on click equals, and then 2 double quotes, and then between those double quotes, what we do is call for the pop-up function. And that's very easily done by typing popup, opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis, and semicolon. Okay. For example, if this function was called testing, for example, I would need to change this to testing, because the name here has to be the same as the function you're calling. But let's change it back to popup, because that's a logical name. So what that small change does, means is that whenever the web surfer, the person visiting the website, clicks anywhere in the main body of the page, it will call a pop-up. It will call this. So let's save that. Let's go back to the web browser. Let's refresh, and nothing looks any different. However, now if I click anywhere in the body of the document, a pop-up appears, as you can see. That's all it takes. However, there is a big drawback. If I click again, it appears again. If I click again, it appears again, and again, and again, and again. I have all these pop-ups now, so I have to close each one. And obviously, if someone is visiting your website, anytime they click anywhere, if they get a pop-up, that would be very annoying and make your website very difficult to use. So what you would need to do is change this code here, the pop-up code, to only show every 24 hours, for example, or every 12 hours, or even just once a week, or whatever you choose. And to get that code, just search Google for pop-up code, and you'll find examples that allow you to do that you can copy and paste into your document. So that's basically it. In the head section, you have the JavaScript code for the pop-up, then add onClick and call the JavaScript function here, and as you can see, it beats pop-up blockers. So the first time, or at the moment any time, someone clicks anywhere on the page, you may want to change it so the first time in every 24 hours, they click on the page, and the pop-up you want then appears. Used responsibly, this is a very powerful feature that you may find useful to add to your site.